you also taught too.
Yes.
I mean, that's sort of in the family. There's
Yes.
people here and there that
I taught
like to
for a
pass
year
it.
and a half. I was not a good teacher.
No.
I did. I was not. I didn't have good classroom management. I did not. Roscoe Payne was my principal. I don't know whether that's a name you know or not.
I've heard the name,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Roscoe. So I was a friend of Roscoe's, and Roscoe said, "Amon, you probably ought to think about doing something else." And so,
What grade did you teach?
7th, 8th.
7th and 8th.
I taught the first special ed classes with another person, Wilson, Mrs. Wilson, that were in the county anywhere.
Really?
Now, not the severe and profound, but just special ed kids. And I taught. She had them for a half a day, and I had them the next half of the day. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the special ed kids, and that's why I kind of enjoyed homebound, because I really enjoyed that. But and I enjoyed Colonial Williamsburg. I told you that. I really
What did you do there at Williamsburg?
worked with the cattle, the sheep, and the chickens, and did some educational things, talks, and that type of thing.
Yeah. You did that for 2 years.
2
You
years.
lived down there for 2 years?
Lived down there for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old were you when you did that?
It was 1998 to 2000.
Wow.
So I was born in 46, 98. So I was in my 50s.
Yeah. How'd that
Isn't
come up?
right,
even?
Mom?
How did you
50.
find out about stuff at Williamsburg?
He got on the internet and he found a job. And I will never forget, our second son said, "Mom, you have to let him go." Because you wanted to go. And because you liked the history. And my second son said, "Your mom, you have to let him go." And when it came time for John to want to go to school, the only place he wanted to go was VPI. So and this is God planned it, because Amon had worked there, then John could go as an in-state student. Because he went down, he had an apartment, changed his license, voted. Is that all you needed to do?
I think.
You did everything you needed to do. He had an apartment, changed his truck license or car license, voted and whatever. So John could go to VPI, which is the only place he ever applied to school as an in-state student. Wow. I would still say it's God. God had it in mind.
You got to follow the guidance when you get it.
That's right.
Especially since John said, "Mom, you have to let him go." Now, our third son and I did a lot of the stuff at the farm while he was gone. And
But you enjoyed that, huh?
Oh,
our third son is the farmer anyway. So.
But no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the educational part of it. I enjoyed working with the animals, and I probably knew a lot more than almost anybody down there about the livestock, because I'd worked with livestock all my life, and a lot of them were just people that enjoyed history and all, but maybe didn't know a lot about animals. So,
well, you said yourself you helped them. All right, they had too many rams for the amount of sheep they had, and so you helped them figure that out. You knew the cows where they didn't know the cows, and where to buy hay that was cheaper.
yeah, we bought hay. We bought round bales of hay, which was a lot cheaper than square bales. When I first went there, they were getting trailer loads of hay from Pennsylvania or New York State, and so I would go to neighbors and buy the round bales, and that was so much cheaper. And then feeding cattle, they fed the sheep and some of the cows with 50-pound bags of feed, and that's expensive. So I would go to a neighboring farm and buy barley. He'd grind it for me, and I'd buy it from him. And that was, we ran the thing a lot cheaper than those were just things that I knew about and so on. And I knew about and just different. I pulled calves and lambs and all. They wouldn't think of doing that without getting a veterinarian. And I know we had a mare foal, and I was on duty or working that night, and the colt had his nose out in one leg, and they said, "What are you going to do? What are you going to do?" I called Dr. Lee. I said, "Well, call Dr. Lee, but," I said, "right now I'm going to push the head back in and get the other foot and bring it out and deliver the foal," and I did. And Dr. Lee said, "Well, you saved it." Oh, they just thought that you can't do that, cannot do that. Said Richard would be, but Richard was tickled to death, and that he was the boss. And so, the things that I knew, not bragging or anything, but there were just lots of things I knew about livestock and feeding and nutrition that they just didn't know.
Yeah, you grew up with it.
I grew up with it.
I mean, that was in your blood anyway.
That's right. I grew up with it, so.
Yeah, I'm sure they were grateful to have somebody with that kind of knowledge and history.
But
working with them.
But like I said, I had a degree in history. That's what my undergraduate degree was in, social studies. And and then we would, dress up in costume and talk to people. They would come around and we would talk to them, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. And hopefully the people enjoyed it. I really did.
What part of history did you like to study about?
My favorite history is Civil War, probably. That wasn't that era.
Right.
That was a colonial era. But I probably enjoyed Civil War history as much as that. Did you ever hear of M.K. Bashan, Millard Bashan?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, he was
Shepherd.
my major professor at Shepherd.
Yeah, we've got his books, multiple copies of his book up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Millard was a friend. My father's friend was my father's teacher in high school, and Millard and I were friends at Shepherd. I called him Dr. Bashan in class, but when I went in his office, I knew him real well. And he was very much into Civil War and that type of thing, and kind of like Doug is today, Doug Brooks, And so anyway, but that was my favorite part of history, probably from the antebellum, before the Civil War till after the Civil War. I don't know a lot about from Grant to Teddy Roosevelt. That's an era that I do not know very well. And then World War I came along, and in high school we never got to World War I or World War II, either one.
Really?
We just didn't get there.
You didn't get there.
You didn't get there. Yeah.
So where the farm is now, was there activity up there during Civil War? Or was that
in Middleway?
Well, Middleway, yeah, but I mean on the farm in particular or anything?
Not really. I don't think too much fighting or anything right there, but Middleway's just a stone's throw away. I mean,
Yeah, you're right there.
You're right there. So there, the Battle of Smithfield and, that area was, that's right.
And it's being able to live in a county with that kind of history must be interesting for you to.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it, and that's right. And I, belong to we belong to Historical Society right now, and go to those picnics and so on. Now I really don't drive at night anymore, so I don't go to the Civil War Roundtable. I've been to that some, but I really don't go to that anymore. It's just hard for me to get out and do that. But anyway,
What about the story of your, which one of their uncles or something went to Pennsylvania and stole horses?
They stole
horses.
He requisitioned horses.
Requisitioned horses.
That was my great grandfather, Colonel Great J.J. Grantham, and he lived. You ever hear of Mount Ellen? It's at Summit Point.
Oh, okay.
And he lived there during the Civil War, and he would go up to Pennsylvania and take horses and bring them back to Summit Point, and the the people, the Confederates would come in and get the horses from. He had a lot there that he put horses in.
What about the story of Moses? Is that a true story?
Well, just a person that during the Civil War, my great grandfather died right before the Civil War, and there was a gentleman that was a tenant and took care of the farm. I mean, while before my great great grandfather came back and to the farm, but I don't know. He was a tenant and took care of the farm while I don't know any stories or anything. He was a gentleman that took care of the farm.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So up there, it says you're is it Grace Episcopal? Is that
Yeah.
your church? From when you were a kid to growing up to now, has the church always been a steady presence for the family? I mean,
Oh yeah, I'd say very much so. A steady presence. Has it changed some? Yes, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, I'm not the oldest member in age, but as far as membership, I'm probably the oldest. And I mean, really, it isn't. It's a small church when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Small church today. I doubt if we ever had more than 25 people, and now we have 15 to 20 people come on Sunday, and don't really have big numbers. Never have.
Mm-hmm. But it's always been a presence, a constant, I guess.
Yeah, in our family, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of our family's buried in the cemetery, and I know at least the gentleman I was talking about that went up Pennsylvania got horses buried there, and then from then on down to my father and brother are both buried there, and uncle
Mm-hmm.
are all buried there.
Okay. When you were, I want to go back to when you were in school and you maybe come in with your grandma or wherever to come into town. Do you remember anything about what Charlestown was like? I mean, if you're coming off the farm to.
Well, the things I remember, my mother used to go to the A&P store down on Main Street, and that's where she shopped. Go to a few other, stores. There was the Cincinnati's had Western Auto on Main Street. I remember that, and I guess we shopped. Of course, there were no malls. There were no malls. Didn't know Walmart. No, nothing like that. We didn't eat out. You didn't eat out when you were a little girl, did you?
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't eat out. I mean,
Yeah.
we'd go on vacation and eat out. It was an unusual. I won't say a treat, but my mother was a good cook. My grandmother was, but we did not go out and eat. We didn't go out after church. We didn't go out, Saturday night. We just didn't go out and eat.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever go to the movies here?
Yes, I when I was a kid, a senior, junior, senior, would go, and there was a movie theater down in Charlestown on right near the VFW. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
There was a one there, and one out near Billy's. I mean, it was Billy's Restaurant. Does that name anything to you?
Mhm.
And it's a fabric shop today, or sewing shop, right? You go there,
Oh.
and used to go, and it was tickets were 50 cents a movie.
Yeah. Do you remember what you saw?
No.
Ever see any movies?
First movie I remember seeing, and I was just a kid, The Ten Commandments. And the second movie I saw was Ben-Hur. That may be reversed, I don't know, but
One or the
basically one way or the other. But they're the two first movies I saw. Don't remember the movies like I would go see a movie in high school. I don't remember, no.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't remember.